Peace YouTube. This is FleurBrun coming today to come back because I guess my live stream went down earlier, so I apologize. And the live stream actually stayed on. The live stream stayed on all day because I didn't even know it was on. So I don't even know if the live stream you could hear my whole conversations, probably everything. I don't, yeah. It would be just like YouTube to just spy on everything I say. Peace. So I promised I would come back, and I am. So I apologize earlier. Once I'm in a garden area or the outside, it's so beautiful. Hey, El Summers. Hey, Sabine. Hey, Miss Tukaha. I like your name. Yeah, I'm sorry earlier. Hey, Nora. Yeah, peace. Hey, Yasmin. Star. I'm in the house. It's unfortunate I have to stay in here. Hey, Portia. Hey, H Stardust. Yeah, if I'm outside, I prefer to do my videos outside because I feel so much more inspired when I'm in nature. But, it would have that everything went down. So I promised I'd come back, so I'm back. So we can get in the conversation. Can't stop, won't stop, right, Empress? I hope you guys are grateful that I'm a triple Sag because I will keep coming back over and over again. We're one of the more resilient signs, and you have triple of me. I hope you could appreciate that. That status quo. Okay, so hey, Annie. Hey, Mandy. Your bestie's a Sag. She'll be loyal as all heck, but she might tell you off every once in a while. Sages, we do have a problem with the mouth. We do tell truth to a heightened degree, and sometimes it is not very, we can be a little insensitive. So, I had to apologize to my mate yesterday. I have Sag moments, and remember, Venus is in retrograde, so relationships are being challenged, and I'm already a sparky type of person. You just take a triple Sag, it's out of control. Anyway, I think Venus is out of retrograde on the 16th of November. Good luck. Put on your seatbelts. Venus in retrograde is an interesting denotion. Anyway, so let's get into the conversation. Hi, Love and Light. I am on Chem A, family. Oh, 2 of your daughters are embracing light. 2 of your daughters are Sagittarius. Everything will be taken care of your whole life. If you have daughters that are Sagittarius, they will, don't worry. If anything pops off, Sag has got your back. Leos too. Oh, Leo, Star Rose, you're a Leo? That's a fire. Fire in the yard. Venus in my 7th house, Quincy said. Oh, from Brazil. Hey, Love Angel. Anyway, let's have a discussion. I was discussing before the holographic universe that we're all coexisting right now in I hope you don't mind me eating because I didn't eat and I'm raw. Listen, fam, I'm raw because I've been eating way too much during this last retrogrades. I must have packed on some pounds. So I have to be, I'm choosing, let me watch my words. I'm choosing to be raw for 3 other than the coffee. You already know, it's decaf coffee. I've been off caffeine since before the conference, okay? So I'm gonna eat while I talk to you because this is what I do, okay? So I'm gonna eat fruit and some nuts. It is what it is. So we're gonna get into the artificial, it's gonna be easier in Libra than it was in Scorpio because Scorpio has, listen, like I said, for me to have to apologize to my mate, you can imagine. I feel for him sometimes. I feel for him choosing me. I have a lot of perks and beautiful things, but I have some shadows, family. Maybe it took hurt. Anyway, oh, Jackie, thank you so much, Jackie Vo. I appreciate that. That was very kind and sweet. Thank you. So we're existing in an interactive hologram. And a lot of times, before before The Secret came out, which was never really a secret, many of you saw the I'm a triple Sag, Star Rose, triple Sag. Sag rising, Sag moon, and Sag Sag ascending. What is it? Ascending? Yeah, I'm Sag all over. Oh, Sweden. Sweden's in the house. Oh, for those who listen, I haven't booked the ticket yet, but I might be booking a ticket to Sweden. For those who are in Europe, that part of Europe. So if you're down in Europe during Christmas time, I may be there. I'm about to book a ticket to Sweden. So anybody in that neck of the woods, you may be seeing me in that their Christmas time. Okay. The problem is that we are all constantly co-creating our reality. Whether you're doing it consciously or subconsciously, you are doing that. And what's interesting, again, when The Secret came out, you know, the whole book with The Secret, you know, all the, oh, you can create all your reality. It was always based on materialism. They didn't tell you that it's not only based on materialism. Yeah, that's kind of nice and everything, but it's based in all aspects of the interactions of everyone everybody that you come across, every person, every place that you go. You are consistently always writing your own novel. And if you realize that you're doing that, then you probably would understand that you have way more control over your outer perimeters than you know. The problem, now where the challenge comes, I don't want to say the problem, I'm going to rebuke that word. The challenge is that many people have been conditioned and have been programmed from their youth to basically have some of these idiosyncrasies that show up, whether you have victim mentality, whether you've been traumatized by being abandoned by one parent, you may have been traumatized by, poverty. You may have been traumatized by being bullied or having a physical, handicap that was, challenging to overcome. So you were teased or neglected or rejected. Oh, everyone from Sweden's in the house. Hey, Ann, Chris. Oh, that's sweet. Big up to everyone in Sweden. Like I said, I'm about to book my ticket to Sweden, but one of our sea stars said it's very cold. So it's making me hesitate on the booking. I'm a little nervous because I'll be coming when it's really, really brick cold and there's the least amount of sunlight there. So imagine tropical me coming to your neck of the woods, but I think it'll be masterful and beautiful. Anyway, so we have so many different types of programming that we are unnaturally trying to overcome. And if we understand that our reality is everything that is what we are propagating in our own from our own subconscious, and you're interacting with your quantum field, creating your own reality every moment of the day, then you'd have to know that you can change, you can modify, you can upgrade, you can do things to pretty much change the reality that may be traumatizing you or maybe perpetually recycling the same trauma-based reality that you were conditioned with from your youth. Okay? So, listen, the moon has been hit. This is a good thing. Once that moon was hit, now we know that we can change things a lot quicker because the moon is actually creating the part of the tethers and the enslavement of the mind comes through the moon. Not only does it recycle your soul through the dark side of the moon to come and reincarnate here with an empty head, not having any memories of anything that you accrued or accomplished in your previous lives, but it controls your ebbs and flows of how you think in this reality. So the moon's hit. Listen, the moon is not the same. I personally may have not believed it before, but I know it's true now. The moon is, part of it is gone. Do I know what happened? I don't know what happened. Do I really care? Not really, because it wasn't good anyway. People are fond about the moon because they say, oh, it's beautiful in the sky. It was listen, the moon was beautiful to look at, but when you know what you're looking at, it takes away from the beauty. It's a satellite meant to mind control you. Why would that ever be beautiful? to you. It's like looking at something that's harming you and saying, oh, that's beautiful. It's not beautiful, it's tragedy. That's an unnatural moon that was towed here and was utilized to control us. So by all means, peace out, moon. And Asia, you better mind your business, China. And don't think you're going to put another one of those suckers up in the sky to try to control us some more. You know, oh yes, please send me pictures. Please, I love the pictures. Oh, let me say thank you for those who are sending me pictures. I appreciate it. The pictures at thebomb.com. I'm looking at pictures like, oh, wow. Like, I'm looking at pictures like, oh. Like, it's like unraveling a tragic story. Like, oh, wow. Are you really government? Are you really trying to fool us with the fill-ins, the holographic fill-ins of the pieces that are gone? Au revoir, moon. Arrivederci, moon. I'm good. What you gone? China, keep your hands out the pot and leave that sucker out of the sky. We don't need any help with any more of that. Now we can actually gather ourselves after our body kind of recovers from whatever, you know, the difference with the moon's gravitational pull and how it affects us. You know, some people are going crazy right now because they required the moon to keep their mind control program up. You know, the MK Ultra program was also being, you know, a little finagled with a little bit of that moon energy. So watch people glitching out on the street. I don't know how it's going to affect them, the lions or killing off their mates. I mean, we've got a host of different things happening. What else? Fleur, it was the dark side of the moon that was hit. Oh, it was the dark side of the moon? Sensei just blew a spark. I wish I had sound effects, Sensei. I want like sound effects, like boom. It was the dark side of the moon. This is a celebration. I wish you were all here. I'm about to go they're about to deliver my food processor. We would be celebrating right now with some raw food. Some strawberries, some fruit, some pineapples. We would enjoy ourselves and celebrate. The dark side of the moon is gone. It's like ding dong, the witch is dead. The wicked witch, the witch. It was hit by a laser. Pretty patient said it was hit by a laser. Oh, I'm eating. This is what I'm eating. I told you I'm gonna eat during the live. Listen, these are macadamia nuts. These are my favorite. I actually love cashews but you know, cashews, I told you not to mess with cashews because they grow on my island and they're toxic if you eat them too much. These are macadamia nuts. Remember, the moms were hoarding macadamia nuts after the volcano eruption. All the hoarders went and bought all the macadamia nuts in every store. So I bypassed the hoarders and I've got me some macadamia nuts. I love them. Anyway, I'm sorry. I don't want to be rude. My mother thinks it's so rude to eat. And my mother saw this live right now. She's like, that is absolutely appalling. People have to watch you eat. It's absolutely disgusting. Oh, I've had this for years. I got this as a gift. Well, actually, two-par. It was bought. I bought it, but it was years ago. I had this, and I actually pimped it out. I shouldn't say pimp. I got it blinged up and added another piece later on because you earn another piece. But I had gotten this many, 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 many years ago. When I say many years ago, it was over 20 years ago. Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm eating, enjoying the conversation. Sensei, you made me very happy by saying it was the dark side of the moon. Am I naked? Do you want me to be naked? I always have clothes on. I have clothes on, family. Sure? I have clothes on. I live in a warm climate where clothing is, it's not optional, but I wear tube tops all the time. If you come to Florida, you already know. T-shirts and tube tops, summer dresses, sandals. We wear limited clothing. Clothing is an abomination created by lower field beings to keep you from receiving all of your light codes on the surface of your skin. Okay? You should be getting light codes from the sun. Well, unfortunately, it's a sun simulator, but what have you. You should be getting light codes on your skin, and the more clothes that you wear is the less that you are able to absorb vitamin D. So bras are the devil too. Thank you, loves. These beasts that came here and colonized this planet made the natural human beings feel like they are savages. The only savages on this planet are those who are deforesting, killing all the animals, the natural plants, who are subjecting us to mind control programs. Those are the savages. Don't come on my feet if you don't realize that. Okay? Rubber sole shoes so you can't, thank you, who said that? Rubber sole shoes, thank you, loves Requiem, so that you can't pick up the energetic waves and pulses from the Earth's core. I mean, I think it's an abomination. And, you know, I'm grateful to say I'm a jungle chick. I'm a jungle woman. And unfortunately, that is not necessarily accepted in this life, in this world, because our minds have been colonized by beings that cannot sit underneath the sun. They hate the sun. Actually, they hate the magnetic energy that comes from the sun. I love it. So if you ever meet me, shoes are optional. I don't care if you wear a bra or not, don't wear a bra. I'm not a pervert obsessed with breasts, because I haven't noticed that every woman on this planet usually has breasts. And I don't, if you know, fanatics usually get upset when they see breasts because they're sick. They're mentally ill because they've been deprived of normality in their lives. Don't get me started. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going sidebar. I'm eating fruit. I'm eating nuts. I'm drinking some oxygen water, and I'm talking to you beautiful people about the the simulated system that we're living in. Now, AI, especially if the dark side of the moon got hit, this means it's a hit to the AI, that huge artificial intelligent system that is basically controlling the ebbs and flow of the matrix. And if this is the case, that it's the dark side of the moon that was hit, this is a true win for the humans on planet Earth. This is a win for the humans, meaning that a lot of us will go back to our natural state of being. Those feelings of being hampered by low thoughts, archonic, low field thought forms that we're creating in our minds because we're being perpetually bombarded by low elf waves coming off of all these grids all over the place. That's being lessened with that hit. So it's a beautiful time. Beautiful, beautiful time on this planet. I accept that. Now, the holographic universe is part of the reason why we come here. It has a couple of different parts to it. It's not always so harmful in that you do evolve spiritually when engaged in this holographic system. You have a lesson, all the tough lessons, all the tragedies, which you consider to be tragedies or what you perceive to be adversity, only are catalysts to assist you in seeing from a perspective that you normally would not be willing to do on your own. You know, people don't change from a position of comfort or complicity. They usually change and are motivated to change from uncomfortability and adversity. And unfortunately, in this matrix system, adversity is really one of the main catalysts for those to evolve in this earth plane at this particular time, 3D, okay, in 3D. Once we get above that, it's not necessary to go through the trauma-based program to evolve. You'll be able to evolve with concepts of conceptualizing the ideology of seeing from a different perspective as opposed to actually going through it, which is different, okay? So I think a lot of us are getting to that point. Like I said, you know, I accept that, you know, especially when Venus first went through retrograde, I think all the retrogrades for many of us, I mean, the life lessons were profound. Thoughts are things. So you have of how you perceive things or the programming that you've been, given from a child. A lot of our programming you may not even realize that you have. We know the strongest forms of programming are, forms of religion that keep you feeling guilt or make you feel like you're demonizing normal human behavior, or forms of poverty, victim mentality, which is programmed in a lot of the indigenous people or brown people on the planet. It's not only brown people, but the majority of brown people are programmed with poverty and victimhood, and it keeps them perpetually suppressed, and they get a regular dose of that programming on television and the news, because the news will propagate that victim status or that poverty status by perpetually showing brown people in poverty, showing brown people in low field behavior, which is not true. And I will tell you this, family, that is a program. The television, not all brown people live in the hood, okay? Not all brown people from the hood have low field behavior. Not all brown people are based in poverty. Not all brown people are uneducated. Not all brown people are violent. That, if you watch the news every day, you would totally believe that. You would totally take that in and think that was the truth. That's why other groups of people may see brown people as that, because the propaganda is on point. They perpetually place that out there so that everyone else, including brown people, feel that way about themselves and others feel that way about brown people. That's why there's this fear sometimes when other types of people, other complexions of people are in the midst of brown people, because they've been perpetually programmed to note that brown people have this unsavory, savage type of behavior, and it's absolutely untrue. If you go to college universities, you see majority of brown people there in the droves. If you go to some of these really stushy neighborhoods, a lot of brown people, you go to corporate America, you see a lot of brown people doing well. In the Caribbean, all we have is wealthy brown people. In Africa, all you have is wealthy brown people. So that's what I'm saying. It's untrue. If you go to the Middle East, all you see is wealthy brown people. So if you follow the propaganda of the television, you would only think brown people are in poverty, and it's untrue. The majority of brown people on this planet, to be honest, are not impoverished. Now, there is a good number of impoverished brown people, and there's a good number of that type victim mentality, but it's not the general consensus. It's really not true. Majority of brown people are not living in poverty. If you've ever been to Africa, Africa is a huge continent. A lot of African nations are wealthy, and their cities look better than anything in the United States you've ever seen, but you would never see it because all they show you is little brown people with extended bellies with flies all around them, and tell you that all brown people are impoverished in Africa, which is untrue. Okay. Only places that you see a lot of that are places that have been destabilized by colonization, and when they're feeding the children rice, which is a starch, which causes the extended belly. Okay. And, those are remote areas as well. I'm not saying that doesn't exist, but not to the degree that it's being perpetuated. So, all this to say, television will have you feeling like the whole world is in another is what it's not. Okay, again, there's a propaganda with women, making women feel like they're less than. And if you look at television, you will see the propaganda to make women feel like they always have to be younger, they always have to wear more makeup. They always have to, because makeup, listen to the phrase makeup. Make up. What are you making up for, you beautiful sea stars? You're beautiful. Make up is to make up for something that you are lacking. So who told you that you're lacking? You were born perfect the way you are in human form. You were born exactly with the hair color and eye colors that your ancestors had. You came with a beautiful skin that you came with, that comes from being from the beautiful ancestry that you had. Who told you have to make up for anything? So you have perpetual commercials and propaganda telling women all the time that they aren't enough, that they have to do things to change and alter their bodies or morph the way that they naturally look to uphold to a standard. Who's creating the standard? Like, who's the standard? So if I'm living in Florida, okay, where's the standard of beauty? So is the standard of beauty just a general consensus of standard beauty planetarily was? Because wouldn't it be different if it was different regionally? Wouldn't different types of phenotypes or looks be generally for the location that you're existing in? So who's making up these phenotypes? Who's making up this consensus of what we are to look like and how and what we are lacking, right? It doesn't make sense. And generally, if we go to the consensus of who we see propagating that, it's mostly males and males that don't like women. So why would gay males standard of how women should look when they don't even like or want to engage sexually with women? Why would gay men create the standard of what women should and should not look like? Isn't that a little backwards? Okay, that's what I'm saying. We have to be very mindful to place ourselves in the position to allow for third parties and outer beings to create a narrative that is absolutely AI based, artificial intelligence, intelligent based, means that there are outer beings, outer agendas that are ruling and perpetually bombarding your subconscious or your conscious mind to have these ideologies that have absolutely nothing to do with you. It's just what they want you to think. And the moon was part of that manipulation. Oh, is Aluna on here? Peace to Aluna. Aluna is the bomb.com. That is a sea star who is intuitively on point, astute. She's energetically, like I call her the mat. Okay, I call Aluna. She is like the newscaster for all the galactic energies coming in. She's able to pick up the frequencies, upload, be able to interpret it and bring it to the masses in such a wonderful way. Big up to Aluna. Aluna's the bomb.com, Aluna. There you go, Aluna Ash. The galactic news. That's right, Aluna. You're like the galactic newscaster, like a galactic caster. We should tune into you when we want to know. So say that you were very astute in that, and you're authentic in how you relay it, because you're able to relay the intel in a way that's perceivable by all, which I think is very unique. Not everyone has that gift or that ability to be able to translate it and for it to be receptive to the masses in such an eloquent way. You're beautiful. And your energy when you speak. I think the first time I heard your video, I just heard your voice and your voice frequency. Oh, I get chills. Your voice frequency. Now the tone of your voice, because I'm big into that. The toning of your voice, it altered my perception of things, and it actually, I could feel that the way that I perceived it, and I was picking up the frequency of your whatever you were relaying at the time. I'm not sure when it actually changed, like it molecularly changed my frequency, like it made it raise up, or it changed and altered it in a more astute, more positive, and a higher frequency way. So big up to Aluna. Yeah, we need to, when the sea stars come and show up as goddesses, please accept when they do. And this is something that I think is beautiful in the times that we're in, because we're in home court advantage of the female divine on the planet. So now, we need to accept that this new energetic field, what is it called? This new, baby on the brain. Oh, this new, oh goodness gracious. It's so funny. I'm like about to eat a grape and my mind is on the grape. So it's like altering. This is a form of MK Ultra. This grape is MK Ultra. No, I'm joking. Oh goodness. I forgot the word that I was going to use. Anyway, this new cycle. Oh my God, it was so easy. This new cycle is in divine feminine. It is bringing in unity consciousness. So it's not just about the female base. It is based in bringing it and fielding in the two dynamics of divine feminine, divine masculine, and making it united so that we're able to go into the golden age with unity consciousness already fully on board. And I think it's absolutely beautiful. So I think this is a time when you are feeling in kinship to the divine feminine. You're actually able to accept women in their highest form of who they divinely are represented, as before, there'd be a little, judgment, or maybe you wouldn't be as receptive to the feminine energy. I see more receptivity, and I see more sisterhood amongst women of all nationalities, all complexions, all languages. And this is a testament that unity consciousness is actually it's coming beautifully unfolding together. I really appreciate that. So, okay, so we got the holographic universe. We're interacting with the quantum field, creating our daily existence and how it shows up in the world, okay? How we show up in the world, how people show up with us. And if you understand that we have all control over everything that we do, everything that comes to us, for us, or if you perceive it as against you, you are the writer of your own novel. And if you understand that, you can change your basic programming. And that's what I love about YouTube, is that they have all these wonderful self-help things, that the language that you utilize to talk to yourself, we've learned to go into our inner core and be able to shapeshift some aspects of things that probably were traumatizing for us as children, so that you can change the language, and that changes the frequency. And once you change the frequency, you can alter your perception of reality and change how the world is interacting with you, or how you're interacting with the world. And I think it's absolutely beautiful. And this is the time you can do it. But like this morning I was saying, like, everything outside of us is fake. Everything from the sun to the moon to some of the people with parts that are, they've got the agenda going really strong with the transhumanism. You got people with foreign parts with them, with nanotechnology, causing for their synapses to be bypassed, and also for control of these nanotechnology bots that end up influencing their mind, almost like archonic type of archonic kind of entities, kind of interfacing with you via your artificial parts, and utilizing the artificial parts as a catalyst to be able to trigger thought patterns in you that you normally wouldn't have if you didn't have those altered or foreign parts inside of you. That's why I say, sea stars, please, you are magnanimous. I have to tell you, you watch these a lot of these, what is it, Instagram sensations, and I was watching, like I said, somebody sent me something with what's her name, I talked about her this morning, the young lady who got butt implant, no, not butt implants, butt injections, what's her name, I forgot her name. Anyway, she was talking about that and how she felt like as soon as she got it, she felt good about herself, but she realized that K. Michelle, thank you, family, thank you. Okay, sorry. K. Michelle was talking about, she was very candid. She was talking about, like, she felt like she was lacking something. She wanted to be perfect. And as soon as she got, but listen to the psychoses in this. As soon as she got the shots for her buttocks, her bum, all of a sudden, she felt this wave of self-esteem, like she felt better, and people were reacting to her differently. People were coming to her saying how beautiful she was. They were saying how magnanimous she sings now. She said, all from getting this, and it really messed with her mind. And I was thinking to myself, how disgusting. How absolutely sick as a society that because she altered her body unnaturally, that all of a sudden it would change who she is at her core. And she talked about it, and I loved how candid she was. She said, she realized she has to go through this process now because it got her, the butt implant stuff blew up or something and got her sick. And it ended up putting some black mold in her buttocks or something like that. Whatever, has these little things attached to her stomach, like drainage with the liquid, the silicone draining into these little pouches on her stomach after getting this butt implants. And that's why I'm saying a lot of us have to really realize, C-Star, very mindful and very less self-critical based on outer outer approval. Okay. And I know it's tough because even on here, like I'm very self-conscious about my hair being messy and so on. I mean, that's part of feeling like I have to be perfected and so on. So I'm not beyond that type of censure. I understand it. And I understand a lot of times how it does influence how we feel about ourselves. But we got to get back to who we are, because you're perfect the way you are. Listen, women's shapes are supposed to be independent. One person can have a bum that's big and large. And actually, look at all the women getting all these butt implants. It's natural to their bodies. Big bum, who know, usually have bigger thighs, accommodate for a bigger bum. Okay, you're not meant to have sticks, huge grandiose boat, but because you throw yourself, you become unstable. You actually become unstable in your energetic field too, because not in a proper, your symmetry is off. Your ancestors gave you intrinsically through their gene pool. So now you're off. You know, it's just like people talk about, I talk about busty babs. I'm appreciative of the way I look top-wise. Is thicker to be able to accommodate for the shapely top area. So it's not now to throw their symmetry off because of something that's who told you were imperfect? Because anybody you're mating with would mate with you regardless of how you looked. And if they would only date you after you or a breast implant, why would you want to be with? Why would you want to mate with someone who would only want you state of being? So the relationship now is fake too, because the person only wants you with this. It's not really you. You see what I'm saying? Official planetoids. We got the artificial people walking around, and then you have people altering their bodies that are now becoming artificial and having artificial relationships. So everything's off balance. Everything's about symmetry. In nature is naturally symmetrically sound. So when you think about yourself, and this is all to say, it's not to criticize anyone, because like I said, I tell all our young ladies who are caught up in this world of Kim Kardashians and Amber Roses that are not even humans, and they're everything about them is artificial. They're based in an artificial, their whole repertoire, their whole show, they're not even real. And if you want to look at those women and create a standard for yourself, then you have to understand being in that artificial world the way that they're existing. They're not happy in that existence either. Amber Rose talks about having issues in relationships, and you see how aesthetically pleasing she supposedly looks, but is it making her relationships better? Is it making her, actually probably making her life a little more difficult? So I'm saying, you know, let's try to get back to the more organic. Now, I'm not saying we should get so archaic that we're going to cave. We're going back to cave. I'm not saying that. I'm trying to stay away from nature knot, because nature knot is the extreme of going back to an archaic state of being. He has basically become a caveman by, you know, going to a state of nature where he is ODing is like overdoing it, ODing on being something natural that he deems to be natural, and his behavior and his patterns are actually so much more unnatural because he's attempting to be quote unquote in nature. You know, all they do in Nature Dot's camp is they sit on social media all day, though they call themselves nature jungle people. They sit on social media all day. All they do is tell you how wonderful their lives are, because if you're living a wonderful life, you don't even have time to broadcast it. If I'm having a wonderful time, you won't see me as much online. If I'm having amazing time or amazing, I'm interacting with my life in such a harmonious way, I wouldn't be able to broadcast it all the time because I'd be too busy enjoying it, right? So be careful of people propaganding happiness when it's actually them promoting something that they desire, that they want you to think that they're living, but actuality, they're actually living in the opposition of that. because you don't have to promote what you already are. And I talked about this before. If you're really smart, you don't have to walk around saying, oh, I'm smart. Oh my God, I'm smart. Oh, don't you know how smart I am? Oh, look at this really big book. That's how smart I am. Do you really have to propaganda it? No, you really don't have to, because you are it. You never have to advertise what you are. That's why I tell the vegans, you could tell real vegans from non-vegans. Like I said, y'all could keep trying to live a life of being a vegan and then end up not having your teeth and hair, because not everybody can be vegans.
Mommy, it's not working.
Okay, sorry, my little one. So you can keep attempting. It's okay. What's happening?
I can't call Dad. He called me, but then it's at 8%. So
just plug it in. He'll call back. Okay.
I can't plug in the iPad. It won't work.
You got to plug it in and then turn it off, and it'll work. It'll fill it up when it's off.
No, I'm talking about my phone. I can't.
Okay.
It's not working.
We'll put something in it before next time. Okay. I'll let you have the charger. I feel.
No,
I'm sorry.
My phone does not have 8%.
Okay.
It's just not working correctly.
Oh. Okay, what was I saying? I like veganism. Listen, I'm not criticizing veganism. I'm criticizing the promotion of veganism to the masses, because the majority of people on this planet cannot be vegans. Listen to me. And I'm coming over 30 years in the vegan vegetarian community. I'm not speaking from a position of an outsider. I'm speaking from the insider. That promoting of veganism is unnatural. And a lot of people are getting sick because they are not naturally created for just eating fruits and veggies. They come from ancestors that required to synthesize their protein from flesh, okay? And a lot of people are mixed with reptilian. So you go into that, that's even another conversation, okay? Yeah, there's fake meat too. That's another thing. We can get on to that. And I'm not criticizing that. I'm criticizing those who sit there and promote all day how vegan they are, how devilish meat eaters are. But meanwhile, why are you promoting it so much? If you eat fruits and veggies, just eating fruit and veggies. You don't have to advertise it. Just do you. Meat eaters are not making hamburgers all day promoting it to you, right? They don't have to do that because they're about that life. They don't have to promote it to you because that's how they live. People who consistently are promoting or putting something in your face, I question that's how they really are. Or they're really having issues or struggling with that lifestyle, so they feel like if they keep promoting it, it'll make them uplift to it. So I'm just saying, you can keep demonizing meat eaters or fish eaters, but when I see you, like I see some of the people in my community dead, who died or lost all their teeth or their hair or their skin color or their bones are fragile, then you're going to say, oh my gosh, FleurBrun, I understand why you cared enough, because it's not for everybody. It's really not. You can do what you do, but I lost one young lady who was a friend of mine, young. She was in her 20s. She's dead. And she fought me tooth and nail. She fought me. Vegans are feisty. Some of them are lacking nutrition, that's why. But she fought me tooth and nail. When I said her eyes were getting lighter, she fought me on it because I said that eye lightening from coming from the homeopathic, naturopathic field, the eyes lightening when you're a vegan is a testament that you are nutritionally lacking. You are lacking. Your body is now starting to degrade based on the fact that you are not getting the proper mineral and vitamins, and you're not getting enough protein. And it's not protein. It's being able to get protein that your body will absorb. Not everybody absorbs protein, certain kind of proteins. It depends on who you are. Certain kind of proteins, I don't want to get in this the whole show, but some people absorb protein from nuts, okay, from seeds. There's certain plants that have little base protein in it. And you have to be careful because eating too many greens is not healthy either daily. You know, I'm the only person who will tell you that, but greens are meant to heal you. Those are medicines. Usually when people start eat animals, I've talked about this before, dogs will eat grass when they're feeling sick. And when they eat grass, what do? Cats too. What happens when they eat the grass? They throw it back up because it's a tonic. They're clearing out their stomach. Okay, when you're eating too many greens daily, it can throw off your pH. That's why little babies, when you feed them greens, what's the first thing your baby does when she puts greens in her mouth, or your son? They will spit it out because it's not natural. The herbs are meant for you when you're sick. They're tonics, they're medicine. When you're supposed to eat greens more is when you're sick, when you're looking for something to detox you. That's when you do green fasts and things like that. That's why I think it's healthy, but they're not meant to eat every day. Fruits and some nuts, and I'm not a fan of nuts too either. Those are where you get the most of your vitamin C, your vitamins, your mineral. You know, sea moss is actually good for getting high mineral content. Okay, so you know, I'm just saying, you got to be very careful when you go into this vegetarian vegan lifestyle. And if you're not, you can't recover from that. If you go too far deep into it, the recovery time is almost zero to notch, because by the time you notice that you're that depreciated in minerals and vitamins, your body has already started to depreciate, you know. And I just say it to you, I'm telling you this from love, because you won't get any vegan and vegetarians who tell you this unless they're healthy, unless they've been about this life for a long time. I've seen people destroy their lives, their health destroyed by being vegans. I'm being honest. Vegetarians, you see that really. Vegetarians are a little more balanced. Vegetarians still add honey, they add eggs to it, they add some dairy, I don't know, many vegetarians, not big dairy people, but they'll add other forms of milk products, you know, things like that. But you don't have to listen to me. You could think that I'm promoting meat eating. I'm not promoting that. I'm promoting balance. Some of you will have issues later on, and I've seen it. You know, how many vegans or vegetarians do you know that are 30 years plus in that life? You don't know many, because they're not online promoting eating nuts and berries all day. I eat what I eat, but I'm not promoting it. I'm not going to tell you to go eat I just tell you that I just get the macadamias because the hoarders took them all. So now I can actually get them. Finally. And that's also an artificial, that's also another artificial way of living that they are perpetuating to you, because they know many of you won't feel good. And when the real shift happens, when the pole shift, you already know what I personally think is going to happen. When the real pole shift happens, if you've not had stocked up on all your minerals and vitamins, because remember, some of you are young. See, because I had some of the young vegans come one day to challenge me. They realize that I'm astute in what I know, and I've gained wisdom by being about this life. I'm not just talking to talk, I'm about this life, okay? So when they came to challenge the concept that they can live as vegans, I said, you're young. Your parents have been feeding you meat since the time you were babies. You have stocked up on vitamin B12, D, C, magnesium. You've stocked it up. You haven't depleted it yet because you still have it in your system, because you're still a fresh vegan. When that stocked up supply depletes, and you now are to the point where you have little to no resources of any of those mineral contents in you, then what are you going to do? You're young. Right now, you have everything you need in your body, storage and steerage. It's all good in the hood until you lose that content and you have no more steerage. Then you're going to see what happens to somebody who really suffers from nutritional deficiency. And it is not pretty, okay? If your hair is not growing as a vegan, look at Nature Knot, okay? Nature Knot's tribe. Nature Knot's tribe, their hair isn't growing. A lot of their hair is not growing. Growing hair is a part of you processing protein, and it comes out in hair. Not everybody grows lots of hair, but you usually get thick. If you're healthy as a vegan and a vegetarian, your hair will grow more, Okay, if you're healthy, your nails will be strong. Okay, they should be sturdy and strong. I shouldn't be able to bend them so easily, right? Your teeth should be sturdy. Okay, it shouldn't be cracking or breaking very easily from having your enamel challenged because you're eating too much fruit and you're leaving all that sucrose on top of your teeth, and it breaks down over time. Okay, and you're still building bone mass, you know, still strong. Okay, because remember, your teeth are harder than your bones inside. When your teeth start cracking here, when your teeth start cracking, remember your teeth are harder than your bones. That's a fact. If anybody wants to test that, go look it up. You could think I'm all kinds of crazy. Your teeth are harder than your bones. When your teeth start cracking, what do you think is happening to your bones inside of your body? Okay? And taking vitamins and minerals may be just as damaging to your body than anything else. You could get that book. What's that book? Vitamins Killed Me. So I could go all day about health, but this is an artificial implanted agenda that's purposefully being propaganda to people to make them absolutely lose their mind and their health. Okay, it is. I didn't think it years ago, because remember, I think if you saw my videos, if you followed me for a while, you already know. I talked about it when it first happened, when I started to see the spike. Remember, I've been on YouTube for a while. I saw the spike and I said, that's unnatural. I didn't know why. Now I know why. Because they're making you genetically GMO-free, grass-fed humans for ETs to eat you and consume you during the harvest. And not only that, they're also making you unable to fend for yourself or be strong enough to fight them when the pole shift comes and FEMA's coming to knock at your door. I bet you those meat eaters are going to be standing up fighting, while some of you vegans and vegetarians will be so depleted of energy you won't be able to fight. Okay? I'm just saying. It's just my perspective. Is meat bad for you? It depends on your perspective. If it's something that keeps you and sustains you, then as long as it's healthy and you're mindful of the life that's given to sustain your life, you would have to make that decision. Okay? Oh, okay. FleurBrun, not decided to talk about political, but the U.S. elections, is Hillary still an option? They're looking now. I think because Hillary ran twice, I don't think they're going to put her on the ballot again. Personally, I think they're going to pick a brown woman, like somebody like Oprah or Michelle Obama, or who's the other woman that they were saying? I think they're going to have a woman, and I think it's probably going to be a woman of color who runs for the elections for presidential candidates later on. I think that's it. I think they're doing that. Now, is there an agenda with the type of women that they're going to pick? Absolutely. I mean, remember, they said that the last president was going to be Barack Obama. And to be honest, he was actually the last voted in president. They didn't lie. He was the last president that was voted in, was Barack Obama. Remember, Trump wasn't voted in. He had won he lost the popular, but won the electoral counts. And also, if you understand what Russia did, personally, I think Russia gave them a little help and they glitched out. I seen it the week before when all the electronics went down. I think Russia helped him out by sidebarring the electoral votes and giving him the win. So I personally think Barack Obama was the last voted in president that's coming in. Every other president, I think, is going to be somebody different. Like I said, I'm not mad at Trump. Some people are mad at Trump. I think Trump is caught. Trump is exactly it. He's the Trump card. I didn't want Hillary because Hillary was the devil. Okay, you already know how I felt about Hillary. I don't want to repeat it again. Hillary was somebody who did a lot of harm to children all over the world, especially in Haiti. Yes, I'm holding her accountable to a lot of the debaucherousness and a lot of the engineered weather that's gone towards Haiti purposefully, even though it's on a whole big island called La Hispaniola, and you never see Dominican Republic. You can have a hurricane in Haiti, but not in Dominican Republic. What island? Remember, I'm an island girl. What island, have you ever seen an island? Have you ever gone to St. Croix, Jamaica, any other island where you only have half the island get a hurricane or earthquake and the other island is untouched? No, because it doesn't exist, because that is a purposeful, social, geoengineered weather that is being focused on a particular part of an island of a people. And Hillary and Bill Clinton are the devil, in my mind. I voted for Jill Scott. If Jill Scott ran, I'm going to vote for her again. Jill Scott at thebomb.com. She got arrested for trying to make sure that agricultural, what was it? She got arrested a couple times. Jill Scott. I said Jill Scott. Jill Stein is thebomb.com. She is gully. I like Jill Stein. Even though she tried to help Hillary after she lost, I think she was just being pushed for that. But no, so I think they're going to add a woman to the list. I think it's going to be a brown woman. I think because of what's going on in the system, they might just do it. I don't trust any of them. Anybody who's running for president is already part of the cabal. So, you're darned if you do, you're darned if you don't. The only reason I still vote, because people are like, I'm not voting because it's not real. I know what it's not real, but the fact of the matter is a lot of women died so that I can vote. A lot of people of color lost their lives so that I may vote. So I vote for just the point that you said that some of my people back in the days couldn't vote. As a woman, as a person of color, I think it is my due diligence to do so just for point. I don't really believe it has any weight. I just do it because I can, and I appreciate the fact that there are some who couldn't do it, so I make sure that I make that vote for the ones who couldn't. Women couldn't vote. They were like dogs, right? They couldn't vote like brown people couldn't vote, so I vote for both. That's it. You can't tell me any different. Now, if you choose not to vote, that's your thing, but I'm okay to vote. And I know it's all a lie. I know whoever is supposed to be in power, they're gonna be in power, regardless if I vote or not. So, do I think my vote makes a difference? Probably not. Like I said, I do it for principle and for purpose. That's it. And am I mad at Trump? No, because he's the only one who can invoke many people to change. I don't think any other president has done it. There's not been another president who could tell you that news is fake, that the weather's fake. He's the only president that did it. You could be mad at him because he's a misogynist. Yes, he is. You could be mad at him because he's egregiously wealthy, because he is. You could be mad at him because he wears hair plugs and his hair is not really real. Yes, you can be mad. But you can't be mad at a man who's been so egregiously honest and nobody can say anything about it because he's president. Listen, I'm a Sagittarius. I get in trouble sometimes for things popping out of my mouth before I actually think about it. So listen, Trump is not my best friend, nor would he hang out with my people. But I will say I appreciate him being the president, because if it wasn't for that man showing up, a lot of this stuff would not show up so overtly. He pisses off many people. He does. He makes white collar people pissed off. He does not listen to Satanists. Remember when I got a sidebar? Do you remember when Trump got voted in? It was real quiet in my neighborhood because many Republicans in where I live. Okay, so Trump got voted in. Do you know how many Satanists and Luciferians were picketing against him being in office? That tells you when he has enemies that I don't really rock with, it's a testament that maybe he's not down with the cabal. He's not down with the Satanist and Luciferian sect. That's why all the celebrities and stuff are anti-Trump. If he was part of that dark cabal, they wouldn't be trying to get him impeached. So I'm just saying, you could be mad at him for being a basic a-hole, but at the end of the day, he's the only one who could have brought the truth out and is unapologetic about it. And he can't be wavered because he's egregiously rich, so he can't even get paid to shut up. Big up to Trump. He ain't hanging out with my daughters because he's a pervert, but I think he did what he did. He said he was going to do it. You know, they didn't. When Obama got in office, Obama was fought every way. He tried. Obama was too brown and too complicit. You know, Obama was, you know, he would have to, for Obama to have changed the system, he would have had to go in their hood. And he wasn't raised in the hood. People were like, we got a brown man in presidency. Obama wasn't a brown man. Do you know he was raised by Lunars and his mother was Lunar? He wasn't a brown man. You know, that's what I'm saying. Y'all, like, brown people expected Obama to be a savior. He couldn't even save himself in Congress. It was a shame because they would spit in his face publicly. Racism, complexionism is deeper than just what even we know it to be. Okay, so he wouldn't have been able to do anything because he had adversity as soon as he got voted in. Okay, so, you know. Did he do anything while he was in office? Yeah, maybe a couple things. I don't know. Maybe he did. Is it anything tangible? You know, I don't know. But Trump is a Trump card. Look at the Illuminati. Look at the Illuminati terror deck. Look at the Trump card. That tells it all. You see the burning towers. Trump is taking down the whole system because he's not really part of a system, but he is agenda-based with the people he rocks with. I will say that. But as far as who you have an issue with, he's got an issue with the same people you have an issue with, which is the dark cabal and all the Satanists and Luciferians that are sacrificing children, that have been monopolizing wealth. He has a problem with them. Did I vaccinate my children? Who said that? No, I wavered my vaccinations. I did a few when my first one was little. The second one, I got a what's it called? The vaccination, what you call it? What's it called? Vaccination, waiver, you know, exemption. Thank you deeply intuitive. Thank you, exemption. I did that when they were little because my first one got a little bit. I didn't do too much with my first one, but my second one, not at all. And I made sure I went and got the exemptions early. So it's good. It'll be fine until college. Okay, through college. Okay, I don't play games. You know, when I know doctors who don't even vaccinate their children because they know that there's toxins in there and mercury and things to mess with them. What do you think? Okay. And if they try to force me, I'll leave the country. I don't play games. When it comes to, I gave birth to children that I wanted. And I made a choice to give birth to my children. Every child that comes out of my womb, I chose to have them. I plan to have them. And when I plan to, I interviewed their pediatricians before I had them. I play zero games when it comes to my offspring. My offspring are the extension of myself. I chose to have them. When I got married, I was married 6 years before I even had children. And then when I had them, even when I was having issues, I still chose to have them. And if I'm going to have them, I'm gonna make sure that they are treated well, that they live and coexist in a world that is conducive and healthy for them. And I will bat for them with my life. I play zero games when it comes to my offspring. Any child that comes between my legs from my Stargate, from this womb, from my genetic base will thrive. Being children who aren't wanted. Well, remember we talked about this yesterday. I don't want to get into gene pools because, you know, I'll go sidebar all the way. But the issue is people having children that are lacking self-awareness and self-esteem. Okay, that's the biggest deal. You have mothers. I wish, like I said, we need a panel of elders in every city, in every state. We need a panel of elders, elders that can talk to young people prior to them getting married or having children. And I think this would create a healthier environment to bring in beautiful wanted children. Okay, I think children that aren't wanted, we talked about this before, people are having children with people they don't even know and don't even know their blood type. They don't know their genetic base. They don't know who they're getting with. Listen, I knew who I was getting with. I had children with him because I wanted to. I chose to have those children, and because they come from myself and I have healthy self-esteem and it will keep getting better and better, I make sure that everything that they have, necessity and above and beyond, is what I can give them. Okay, I would have only had them with that case. People are having children so they can have a baby shower or so they can look cute in an Instagram picture. We have very unhealthy, very insecure, very immature people producing children on this planet, and that's an issue. Okay, and we can take care of that by mothers. Listen to me, mothers, grandmothers, aunties, the elders of the communities coming together and staging place safe zones where we can talk to young women and men, but I think elder men can do this with males as well. I don't want to separate them, but women are ultimately the ones who give birth. I think if we had elder stations where we have elder mothers, grandmothers sitting and having these collective conversations with nothing held back. You know, I've talked to mothers who are afraid to talk to their children about what's between their legs. Like, you had a daughter. You should be able to have a conversation about her yoni without you feeling embarrassed and without her feeling embarrassed. That shouldn't even be that shouldn't be a situation where you can't even discuss that. Okay? Women are going into having sex with boys and don't even know, they don't even know how to detect a STD. Okay? They have no clue of their family base. I teach my little ones, you see that family, you take a look at their family. That's who they are. How those little boys treat their peers, how the peers uphold them, that's who they are. Okay? I also let them know how beautiful and wonderful and how to protect their eggs, and that they want to make sure that their eggs stay protected, so that they must eat well and healthy and holistic, so that their babies will come out healthy when they're ready to have them. Okay, these are the conversations I have. You know, I talk about proper grooming. I talk about what's necessary to pick a decent relationship, and they're little. Okay, and I will continue to have those conversations. Oh, thank you, Aris. Thank you so much, Aris Hill. I appreciate it, Mama. I spread for the animals, not from struggling. Thank you, Aris. I appreciate it. Beautiful support. Yeah, so, you know, I hope when I'm more settled, when I get to my home, when I go back to 0 point to my home base and I'm in the jungle, I will televise from the jungle, and I will collectively get together other sea stars all over the different ley lines, and hopefully we can collectively come together and start to felicitate for our children, male and female. The little boys need help. And little boys can only do what they are taught to do. If you've not geared them in a proper position, if you've not given your boys the proper tools in order to keep themselves safe and to keep healthy self-esteem and to be so loving of themselves that hoarding women wouldn't even be an option, I think we'll have a better cohesive exchange, and we'll have healthier children on our planet. Okay? Mothers and grandmothers, elders, we know. You know, if we sit collectively and not judge a young lady because she's had multiple partners, because maybe she's trying to fill a void. You know, you have elder women who are very critical of these young ladies. You have to be mindful. How did she become that way? What motivates her to do that? How can we allow her to fill herself up with something that's more healthy that's healthier for her, so that she doesn't have the necessity to lend her yoni out to fill some of that void? How do we do that? Same with boys. You know, boys that are loved very properly are not yoni hoarders, okay? The boys that tend to violate women, who are obsessed with hoarding yonis and can't get enough women, those are boys who didn't get enough from their mothers, okay? That's why I tell mothers, tell your sons every day you love them. Give them hugs and kisses. When I have a son, I will love him every day. I will tell him how special and wonderful and precious he is. I will also hold him accountable for any behaviors that are detrimental to him or others. I will make sure that I am very astute in how he shows up in the world. I will do that if I have a son. Okay, so when I have a son, that I will do. I can say that with certainty. But it's the same with mothers who have boys. You know, you cannot be lax with them and say it's all the responsibility of the little girls. And then you have a young lady come to your house saying she's pregnant, you mad at her. No, you need to deal with your son and teach him enough about himself so that he only wants to mate with the best and women who have self-esteem, so that no woman would get pregnant by him because she loves herself too much and she wants to do it at a proper time when she chooses, when she feels so deemed, and if he's so special, or she feels he deems he's worthy of her giving him a seed. You know what I mean? So he will have a good, astute self-esteem for himself, that he would only pick a proper female that has healthy self-esteem, that would only have children when she is fully prepared for those beautiful things and sacrifices that come with having children. Okay, that's it. Mothers matter. If you know nothing else about FleurBrun, you know I'm about the children and the families. That all day. You know, we'll have a son. I'm okay with that. You know, I'm about the children and families. I'm about the animals, healthy restitution of our forests and our trees, and our plants. I'm for that. So at the end of the day, that's probably more my premise. I'm a contactee, so it may be why I'm motivated, being touched by the galactic sex. So maybe that is intrinsically what some of that ET base in me does kind of promote. Maybe it's that in me that does that, but at the end of the day, it's very important. And living in an artificial, and also, you know, tell your boys, you know, like I said earlier, there's nothing wrong with boys being attracted. Little males will be attracted to females when they're young. They will. But, you know, teaching them about themselves, about artificial intelligence. I mean, I don't know if many of you are having conversations. I have conversations about my little people. They hear these shows. Do you know how much of these shows my little ones hear, and they're able to articulate in a way, in a language that they can perceive it, and they're able to even change it in a way that I can't even, like, even the way that they digest the information that I share, they take it to a whole nother level because those are my ancestors through my children. So I'm in awe sometimes when they, you know, tell me back what I was shared, but shape-shifted it into something that was even higher in frequency and vibration and intel. I'm like, I accept that. So I really exist in a world where little or nothing is really hidden from my children. I share, as long as it's healthy, I share things that I feel are healthy for them to hear. I interact with my friends and my mate, with my family dynamics, because it's all should be balanced. You said a doctor pushed me to vaccinate my baby. She has encephalitis. My heart stopped when I heard her scream. Oh my God. Anaphylactic. I'm sorry, Sabine. I'm very sorry that happened. And a lot of times the doctors are drug pushers. The doctor should not have done that to you. If you felt uncomfortable, if you had a doctor who was empathetic, who felt really compassion for you as a mother and for your child, they could have never, ever encouraged you or even let you do that in that state of being. That should be a choice. Vaccination is a choice. No mother in her natural state would ever put a third-party chemical in their child if she's uncomfortable. Oh, sorry. It went up for a minute. Yeah, no doctor that's healthy. Switch doctors. Also be your number one advocate. If you don't feel comfortable, your first mind is your right mind. As a mother, you have a right to say, I feel uncomfortable about this. Let me walk out the office and think about it. If they're putting too much pressure on you, by all means, do not feel guilty or apologetic for making a decision regarding your own child. You can walk out the office and you can make a decision to change pediatricians, okay? And there are plenty of pediatricians now who are really good advocates of being an advocate for the parent and the child first, as opposed to proponing for perpetuating chemicals in your child, okay? So do feel like if you have a problem, just switch doctors, okay? If it's permissible. And if not, then you are not party to be forced to anything. They cannot force you, and they know there's a lawsuit ahead of them if they bully you to vaccinate your child, because there's people suing doctors now for bullying them to having vaccinations, and then something happens to the child, and then now they have a full-on lawsuit. So always feel empowered. I'm sorry that happened, Mama. I understand it, though. Been there. You'll be fine. You know, make sure you chelate her by doing things to pull any metals out of her, so that if she's having any issues, you can use chlorophyll is wonderful to purify the blood. do a chelation where there's charcoal and so on, so you can kind of bind together some of that mercury so that it's not staying in collective areas, so that it has a way to flush out of the system. There's many different things that you can do. You can do salt baths, clay baths, which are wonderful for the babies. Put some clay in there, put some lavender because it's kind of relaxing for them, some fresh lavender, just a scent, because the clay may have a scent that they don't like. Put a little clay in it and clay your baby, or put the clay on her. Babies love that. I love it. You can take the baby, which I love, do with my little ones. You take them and get Barcolite clay, bentonite clay, and you add a little apple cider vinegar, and you clay your baby. Clay them. They love it. They'll let you do it. They think it's a hoot. Do it in the bathtub because it's messy. Clay them from top to bottom, in their hair, everything. You want to clay because it pulls. And do that at least if the baby's having reactions from some of these chemicals, especially boys. Clay them, do that, chelate them. That will help. Salt baths help to neutralize some of the metals inside of them. And actually you want to bring out, you want to kind of flush out their system from any metals, trying to find a wonderful way to do that, okay? How could we reverse the effects of vaccination shots to her? Please sell anything that you think can start. Okay, like I said, the claying of the babies, chlorophyll helps. Putting chlorophyll in the water, babies don't notice it. I use chlorophyll for the longest time. My little ones still drink it. Put chlorophyll in their water. Chelation, there's a form of activated charcoal, is also really good. A lot of times with the babies, they may not want to do the charcoal by drinking it, but what you can do is topically. So I take a little activated charcoal with non-hexane, oh gosh, I always have these moments lately. I can't blame the moon. It happened before. Castor oil, okay? Non-hexane, hexane-free castor oil with activated charcoal. And you can put it on, I like to put it on their hair. It's really good for the hair too. It's good detoxer. Put it on the scalp and the hair and rub it and leave it in for a little bit. And then you can rinse it off and put it on along the body. Cilantro is really good too, cilantro. Babies don't like cilantro though. You know, cilantro's got that really, I love the taste of cilantro, the smell. Babies usually won't take it. But I think more so doing topical things will help. Doing a little chlorophyll in the water, that helps to clear out the system, clear the blood. Doing salt baths and clay baths, cleaning the body of the baby, you can kind of reverse that. And chelation. Chelation is you can buy the chelators where you can kind of pull metals out of the body. So you can do a couple of those things, okay? Parsley is great too, okay? Just remember, but little people are very fussy about the taste of like greens. That's why I say with greens, it's very hard to make them a tonic. You could do bitters. Bitters are more for getting worms and things like that. But as far as metals, the best thing you could do is do a chlorophyll, do clay to bind, do activated charcoal with the hexane-free castor oil in the hair and the body. That helps to pull and detox. And again, chelation. There's a whole bunch of different types of things. What is it? Black bark. Oh no, is it black bark? I think it's black bark that does it. There's a couple of different things that you can do. You can reverse anything that's, and also as a family, we have to take we also have to take into account that some of the souls that we're giving birth to have their own level of spiritual lessons. So we have to take into account that we cannot shapeshift a being's journey spiritually. A lot of times little people come in with their own karmic lessons, and some of those karmic lessons show up as, health things that will teach them to be a certain way, so that whatever they grow up to be, sometimes a baby that's very, very sick, who grows up very sickly, grows up to be the most phenomenal holistic doctor. If you take away the ingredients of them being sickly, then they may not turn out to be this masterful doctor or even have that incentive to be so. Do you understand? Sometimes it's like that, and it's hard. Let me change. I'll take that word back. It's challenging as a parent to watch that. We can only do our best, but we have to understand that every child has its own personal journey spiritually, and how they show up in the world sometimes comes up from very, very challenging ingredients, and those ingredients will make them into beautiful people. Oprah Winfrey had the most tragic, which you would perceive as the most tragic beginning. But how did she get to the point where she was motivated to help tons of people? It's because she had to go through that. You know what I mean? But for mothers with children with autism, I would say chelation. A lot of mercury is still in the brain, especially if you gave them vaccinations. I would start chelation while they're young before they go into pubescence. It's easier to get rid of the metals while they're young. It's a little harder when they go through pubescence because their brain synapses, the nerves start to become more interconnected, and it's harder to get the metals out of their head. It's easier pre like 10, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. So I start the process. Just start pulling and watching diet, okay? Don't put any more metals in them. Stop. For mothers who have sons or daughters who have autism, stop using metal, anything metal, like metal pots. Only use like glass or stoneware, even when you're cooking, okay? You don't want to add more metal. Aluminum foil and all that stuff, you shouldn't be using any aluminum. You shouldn't be using microwaves, okay? So when you have metal issues, you have to stay away from things that are have a lot of radioactive material. You know, I know people like to use their stainless steel pots. Those aren't good for children who have some metal contamination. Like I said, stoneware, glassware, I'm a fan of. I remember my husband walking home. Some of you remember, did I do YouTube then? I don't know if I did YouTube then. My husband walked in the house. This is like, how many years ago is this? Oh my God. This is like 12 years ago. This is how long I've been, because if you have Kevin Trudeau's book, I don't know if many of you know about Kevin Trudeau. Anyway, he walked in the house. You can imagine. Oh no, I was pregnant at the time. No, I was pregnant. He walked in the house. There were all the plastic Tupperware. What's the Tupperware? Is it called Tupperware? Tupperware? Is that the correct word? Tupperware. Tupperware. I don't know the English word for that. What is it called? What's the English word for Tupperware? Thank you. Thank you, Nicole. Whew. All the plastic Tupperware was on the floor. I threw away everything. I threw away things that were really costly too. I threw away all the plastic, every plastic thing. I haven't used a microwave for myself or my family for, my mother did use it and my husband did use it for my little ones. You know, they know I'm against it, but they've done it like once or twice. I haven't used a microwave for myself for over 13 years. I think it's 13 years now. 13 years I haven't used a microwave. I threw all the Tupperware on the floor, all the plastic, it was out of my cabinet. I have zero plastic. The only thing that the girls have, my little ones have, is some Tupperware that's given to my mom. It's like BPA, where I don't like it anyway. But I threw away all the plastic. So all I have is glass, and I kept it with babies too. I had to be careful because a lot of things crack and break. Stoneware and glassware. So if you have children that have autism or any sort of brain issue that you deem to be mostly metal connected, throw away all of, don't throw away the metal stuff. Cook only with the babies, with the stoneware and with the glassware. You can buy really inexpensive ones now. And also stay the heck away from the microwave. The microwave is the devil. Okay, you should not be radiating your food. I hope many of you at this point don't use, ovens are okay. The stoneware, any microwaves, stay away from that. Pyrex glass is fine. Also, what did I do? Oh, aluminum foil, pans and stuff, you shouldn't have that. You should only have stone kind of dishes. Make sure you do stone dishes. What was the other thing I did? I did something else. I went ballistic. Could you imagine? I think I was full on. That's when I filtered the whole house water system. Yeah, I cleared out everything. I had nothing in the house. All the plastic was out the house. The only plastic you'll ever see me with is once in a while these water bottles that I get from outside, and I have glass. Like if I make teas and stuff, it's all in glass. And also, like if I do Starbucks, and I only drink it when I drink it. And I have a glass Starbucks cup that I'm gonna start using now. Yeah, you just have to be mindful. Metals, stay away from all metals for your children, okay? And any, there was something else I was gonna tell you to do, I forgot. Oh, it was something else I was going to tell you. Okay, I apologize. I forgot. You know, when it comes to a lot of advice as a mother, I take that any thing you ask me very seriously. I do especially regarding the children. So, you know, I make sure that I give you the best information possible, to be anything that I know or have gained from other mothers. And I know some of the most phenomenal, listen, I know some of the most phenomenal mothers. Ooh, I am grateful. Listen, and I got a granny that's 101 going on 102 in December. So I speak from elder information. Like, I don't play with the babies. Okay. Yeah, fish, you got to be careful with fish. The only fish you got to be careful with fish that absorb mercury. The waterways are dirty. It's just, the planet is just, you know, people are like, what can you eat? Like, even with, I recommended spelt. Vita Spelt is the spelt flour that I use. Vita Spelt changed their bag. Now, this is interesting. Vita Spelt, which is the only spelt that I use, it's holistic spelt, and it's the only spelt that the babies like. They don't like this sprouted spelt flour. They just don't. So if I make anything with muffins or, you know, anything with the spelt flour, I use Vita Spelt. Vita Spelt, for anyone who doesn't know, changed their bag from red and white to blue and white. So just make sure you're okay to change it. I had to vest that out. They just changed the bags that the flour came in. So instead of red and white, they changed it to blue and white. I thought that was very interesting, but they just changed it. How do you get rid of mercury? You just got to chelate. You got to bind the mercury together with something that's more earth-based and flush it out the system. That's basically what you're doing to get rid of the mercury. I tell mothers to try it with their sons when they're young, because once the brain starts to, the nerves start to, you know, as we get older, we create more nerves on our brain. So, you know, it's harder to get mercury out of the brain when you have all these folds, more folds forming. The least amount of folds, you can kind of bind the metals and try to flush it out the system. But once the babies get to a point where they get into pubescence, it's a little more difficult. I'm not saying it's impossible, but you probably want to go to a holistic practitioner to be able to really work that out. But when there's a will, there's a way. You can do it. You can do it. And I just say, mothers, for those who have sons, and also don't eat Kellogg's cereals. Kellogg's cereals have metals in them. That was what I was going to tell mommies. Stay away from Kellogg's. Kellogg's, if you don't believe me, you look on YouTube, you see the guy who put a magnet next to some frosted, what was it? Frosted Flakes or Kellogg's Corn Flakes, and the suckers were coming towards him with the magnet. Come on now. Yeah, just stay clear of all metals. If you have children all children are sensitive to metals, just especially if you have sons or daughters, and you'll see some of their behaviors, they'll come back to life when you take out the metals out of their diet. You really have to be mindful. I mean, you're living in a penile system. Steel cut oats, it might be fine, Jennifer. You have to, I do quinoa. I love this. Ooh, I almost got sick last night from it though too. But I do quinoa flakes. Quinoa and oat flakes are really good, but quinoa is really good. It is so yummy. I do quinoa and oats, hot cereal. Oh, I love quinoa though. And quinoa and oats, the combination, oh, it's phenomenal. So if you want to do that, they have a really nice non-GMO formula. The baby formula these days has chemicals in it. Baby mothers, please nurse if you can nurse. I know some mothers have an issue with nursing. If you can nurse, please nurse. I nurse both my babies, and I will nurse all babies that come from me. I will make sure I do that. Nurse your babies, and if you can't nurse them, you can do hemp milk. Hemp is the best for babies. That's what I found. So one of the recommendations I give for mothers who cannot do their breast milk, for whatever reason, hemp I found to be the best. Hemp is wonderful. It has the least amount of allergens. I know this is turned into the mommy recommendation group. Hemp is really, really good. Hemp milk, you can buy that anywhere. Buy organic, non-GMO. It is phenomenal. It's great for the baby's tummies. The tummies don't have as many problems. You got to start them young because, stay away from soy. You already know soy is the devil. Rice milk is the devil. Rice is arsenic. Never give babies you want extended bellies. You're going to have gout problems, issues with stomach, gastric issues. Stay away from Stay away from rice milk. Nut milks, don't give your babies almond milk. Please do not. That is not an alternative. You're going to give them all kinds of allergies later on because you become hyperallergenic when you're eating too many almonds. So try to stay clear of nut milks. I do flaxseed. My little ones are grown now. So Karma, well, they're bigger. Good Karma flax milk is my favorite. It's so yummy. It's creamy, and I make it with everything. It's really good. So Good Karma flax. But for babies, I would do the flax or the hemp. The hemp first, because it has a lot. It's packed with more stuff. And also do some hemp hearts to make like a little hot cereal for them, or mash it up. Okay, don't do rice cereal. Anything with rice. Don't buy any baby food with rice. I did Sprouts. As I used to buy Sprouts. I don't know if they have that anymore. Sprouts was one of our baby choices, like freshly, and I pretty much made a lot of my baby food. But I nursed forever. List of all the foods. I have so many foods I recommend you. I recommend so many different types of things, you know, and I've tested anything that I tell you, I've tested. And I've been the guinea pig for a lot of things. I've tried everything because I had 2 little ones and I was living on a farm. Remember, I grew 70% of my own produce, you know, and I had my babies literally on a farm. So I did a lot of the taster testing of a lot of good things. And I found things that worked and didn't. My daughter got skin issues from taking, the little one got skin issues from taking a shot for something else from the doctor that just progressed and it never cleared. So I had to clear this on my own, and I've had to trial and tribulation because it was all over her skin and her face. I mean, it literally was spreading. So I had to do so many different things to try to find out how I could heal her skin, because the environment is toxic. She comes from me and her daddy, and we and her daddy are okay. Daddy has a little bit of that skin issue, that sensitivity, because he's more Cherokee. He has that Cherokee, and I'm not mixed with Cherokee. So Cherokees have, you know, sensitivities to acidic foods. Oh my God. Thank you, Cher Approves. I appreciate it. Thank you. That's very sweet. You guys make donations. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. So yeah, Good Karma is fantastic. My husband is best sick when I make rice. What'd you say? My husband feels sick when I make rice. So I'm not a fan of rice. I've told you, rice is once every other month. I'm not a rice person. The only time my mate grew up, he's Jamaican. So he grew up on, you already know, he's Jamaican. So he grew up on rice and beans, but he appreciates everything I cook. He loves every veggie. He tells me, like, I can make anything, because I have flexitarian family. So I can make anything, but he loves my veggie meals. He enjoys it. He takes pictures of it. He brags about it. He loves it. And he's what you consider to be a typical meat eater. Okay. He's Caribbean. So Caribbean men like to eat real food. They don't like processed food. So he likes things fresh, everything. So he's more of a paleo type of man, but he likes rice. So I've kind of acclimated him to getting used to like kamut or quinoa or couscous. I'll do couscous every once in a while. I like Israel couscous, which is like a pasta. I'll do those things to kind of get him acclimated to other things rather than rice. Rice is just not healthy for you long term. Okay. We just went from, I don't know, family. I'm sorry. I changed the topic of our discussion so often. I apologize. There's a lot of mommies and daddies on here, so I think sometimes we get in a conversation about artificial world, but this is kind of in alignment with what we're talking about. We're talking about artificial intelligence, artificial planetoids, artificial things, and then we talk about amaranth is good. I'm a fan of amaranth. Wild rice is okay. Rice is not good. Rice in itself it's just natural. It has arsenic. All rice has arsenic on it. Just like, yeah, we get on food topics because I'm raw right now. You already know I'm raw for 3 weeks. I had to do it because wheat bothers me, and it's because the wheat has changed, and I do spelt, but everything bothers me now because my body has changed, and I just think the quality of food has changed. So you'll see me bulk up from eating. I know people who can eat the same thing I eat and never gain a pound. I don't eat tons, but because I am indigenous and I have a lot of that indigenous quality, we are not meant to eat. When you see me look my healthiest is when I'm eating raw, because my ancestors ate raw with a little bit of pescatarian in them, sometimes fish. Okay, that's how they ate. So when you see FleurBrun look her, more balanced size, when I'm healthier is when I'm eating raw. And it's because my ancestors, that's the way that's the way that they took their nutrition in, is raw. Okay? And from the tropics. Like these seeds, these grapes have seeds. And people get upset like, oh, they don't want to work for their food. I'm like, that's why we live in an over gluttonous society, because everybody just wants quick gluttonous food to just shove in their mouth. Nobody wants to work. It's not even work. Nobody wants to actually take time in eating. And I've been a party to this. So, you know, I think a lot of times, like even these globe grapes, these are fantastic. I love these. But the other grapes, I like them too, but they give me tummy problems. I remember when, I'm taking the seeds out. I remember when me and my mate first got together. This is years ago. My mate has been around. Listen, my mate and myself, my present mate may seem new to you guys, but he's been around for a long time. He's been soliciting me for a long time. So when me and him first started seeing each other years ago, I had to go, he wanted me to go meet his mom, right? So this is how much about this life I'm going to share with you. This is how FleurBrun's about this life. I was supposed to meet his mom, right? I think this was this Father's Day? No, I don't know if it was Father's Day. It was around that time. And I was on a hunt for a seeded watermelon. Now, listen, family, it's Orlando. You think you can get seeded watermelons. It wasn't that easy. I had to meet his mother. I was stressed because I was like, I told him, oh my God, Fitness died. Oh my God, thank you, Fitness died. How can we find out what your ancestors are? I'm O blood type. Now, Fitness die. Are you O positive or are you O negative, Fitness? Fitness die. Tell me if you're O negative or O positive. Okay? If you're O positive, you're OG. Number one, you're OG whether you're O negative or O positive. O positive means you're positively from here. Okay? If you're positively from here, that means, now if you're looking for the ET groups, you're either mixed with the Anunnaki, who nega tends to have the O positive. Pelagians sometimes have O positive. But they ate. O positive now. O positives tend to eat more warm weathered fruit. Okay, so pineapples, mangoes, citruses like key limes. I don't really mess with regular limes. Key limes. You will do well if you are engaged in meats. You will do fine eating things more like lamb. I'm sorry, hold on. Lamb, goat. I think mutton is considered lamb. Lamb, goat, fish you do well, salmon, red snapper, pineapple. Pineapple in itself is a type of hybrid. Now, the pineapples that were the original pineapples, we don't see anymore. You see them in, I think Tahiti is the only one, or Polynesian islands, we may see the original pineapple. You don't see them anymore. You don't want to eat too many pineapples. Pineapples are highly acidic and they can cause like a anaphylactic type, like a kind of hives on you if you eat too much, but they're really good for getting rid of parasites. So pineapple to a balanced degree are okay. Mangoes are fine. For O positive, you can have meats, and you can have red meats, but you just want to leave it. You have a tendency to be able to process meats a little easier, okay? Because you come from a breed of people and indigenous who did eat and hunt. Also, if you're O positive and you're from the United Snakes of America, no pun intended, you should be okay eating venison or buffalo or bison, okay? Those are meats that your ancestors ate. You process it. You don't get high cholesterol from eating that if you eat venison. Why they don't sell venison in the markets, I'm not quite sure, even though they say there's an overpopulation of deer. But venison is something that your ancestors, buffalo, again, these things, quail, a lot of Europeans do well with quail as well. But I say, if you're from the Caribbean, it'd be more lamb, goat. If you're from the northern parts of Americas, or if you're from the Americas, buffalo, bison, yes, I say duck is more from Europe. People from Europe eat more duck, and they process duck liver and stuff well. You know, you get things like pate. Pate is duck liver, so you see that a lot more in Europe. They process duck. So that's something you should eat. Warm weather fruits you should eat. Stay away from things that are berries. Berries don't do well with O positives if they are from the Caribbean. If you are from the North Americas, you can eat things like blueberries. You can do blackberries. What's the other one that's really good? But you do well with tropical fruits. O positives can eat more tropical fruits than any of the other blood types. Like A positive or negative, they may have problems with tropical fruits. Got to be careful with that. It can cause long-term atrophy of their bones if they eat too much of that acidity, especially pineapples. It may cause acidity to them. Venison. I mean, I'm a fan of if you consume flesh, then you should be mindful of the flesh you consume. And if you consume flesh and you live in certain regions, I would say, this is where I'm not mad at hunters. Hunters will hunt venison and kill the game, and they will eat and utilize the hide and everything. So I'm not really upset at that because I think that's more of the natural order of things. RH negative people, it depends on where you're from. RH negative Europeans, again, do well with starches. I find that negatives do okay with starches. They can process starches a little differently, and it doesn't necessarily transform into sugar, complex. It doesn't do that for them the same as I find positive Rus. The non-indigenous are invasion GMOs of sacred plain. Well, they're not from here. They're not from here. Fitness Dye, the book is a great... Oh, Love and Light gave you a suggestion, Fitness Dye. Okay. Oh, okay. So I was talking about... Okay, let me go back for a second when I ended the story. So I was somewhere and I had to meet my mate's mother at the time. I wasn't really thrilled, to be honest, because I came from a mother-in-law who was the devil. I had a mother-in-law. I think you've seen my video before. I had a mother-in-law that was the devil. So I wasn't really excited for my mate to, I didn't understand, why, we just got together. Why does he want me to meet his mother? I was like, really, dude? What's up with that? Anyway, I was on a hunt for a seeded watermelon. It took me so many hours to find a place to go get it. I felt like I was buying drugs. That's how bad it was getting a seeded water in Florida. It's like looking for drugs, and it's for me to get a seeded watermelon. So finally, 3 hours later, I had to let him wait. I said, listen, she understood. I love it. She's an island woman. She was like, let her get her watermelon. Leave her alone. She's healthy. Let her go and get her watermelon. So I went and got my watermelon seeded. I went and got a gentleman who sold it off the side of the road. It was the sweetest, most yummiest watermelon, and I kept the seeds. I save the seeds. I don't play. Whenever I get heirloom anything, I save the seeds. I keep my seeds so that I can plant them wherever I need. I haven't done watermelon here. I used to do it where I lived previously. I have the book Eat Right for Your Blood Type. It's okay. I think it's missing certain things, but for the most part, most OGs require meat. There are some of the other A's and B's that don't have so much of a requirement. Negative process protein differently than negatives process protein differently than positives. And you will see more overweight positives who are engaged in eating too many starches. Like positive Ruses, it doesn't matter if you're A, B, O. If you eat starches, you tend to gain weight. Negative Rus, they don't have the same ability to gain weight from starches. They tend to gain weight from fatty foods, like things that are high in fat content. I noticed that difference just visually. I noticed that differently. So negative Rus, whether they're A, B, so on, they process starches and they're able to process it, and it doesn't really go to complex sugars like I see it with O positives. But I think it's because they are not native to the planet. So the way they process complex starches are different than the way positives process complex starches. And you could just see, because look at O positives, you'll see heftier, heavier people if they're consuming starches. Where negative, you don't see them gaining weight from starches, you'll see them gaining weight from fat. Not to say the O positives don't gain it from fat, but they gain it from starches too. Like one of the A positives, are also, I noticed that the Blackfoot Indians, A positive, they tend to get really, really chunked up when they eat any complex starches. They get really chunky. And their people weren't chunky. Blackfoot Indians were a little thicker, very stout, but they get a little chunky when they eat more starches. So we got to be careful with starches, because starches is something, complex starches came with colonization. It wasn't necessarily here. And a lot of people are O positive or native to the positive roots has been on this planet. They're more indigenous to this planet. Negative roots is not from this planet. It doesn't matter if they've been homogenized, if they're cloned, or if they are just galactic hybrids, which a lot of the negative roots is like Max Spears used to say, otherworldly blood. So they are not native from here. So a lot of the things that are good for them are not good for positive roots. That's why you shouldn't interact as far as having children interwise like that. Are they upgrading the hologram hack? Because they're always upgrading the hologram. Oh yes, they upgrade the hologram just like you get uploads on your phone. That, remember, your system on your phone is always upgrading itself. It's always updating. We get updates on the hologram probably every 24 hours. I tell you, the moon looked one way one day, and then I looked at the moon the next day, it looked a whole lot different. They're updating the hologram. And it is our perception too. Every time we see aspects of the matrix unfold, they have to make sure they put another extra layering on it so that that is unable to be perceived by us. Someone said twice today. They upgraded. Like, what I like to eat. For those who are O positive, like, okay, you can see me transform. So you see my face is a little chunkier because I've been eating like a soldier from all these. I'm going to blame the retrogrades for me eating. No, for the past couple of years, I've been bulking up since my father passed away. It's a little bit of mourning. It's a little bit of a little bit of turmoil in my soul from losing my father, I'm gonna be honest. So some of the bulking has to do with me protecting my heart space from my dad's passing. I think a lot of that, but the energetic field is not cohesive right now. It's almost like we're bulking up to get ready for something. That's how I feel. I feel like right now, like before I was like, why do I want to eat? And I'm pretty healthy. I'm like, why am I hungry all the time? Like hungry in a weird way. Like I'm stocking up. Like something's about to pop off. So I got to stock up, build up my steerage. I'm like, what the heck is that? So I realize my body requires, I'm O positive. I realize that I have to take control. I have full control over what I do and what I put in my body. So I had to do that. So I decided to go raw because I know raw is easiest for me and it feels good. It doesn't require a lot. Like I'm going to have some red peppers and hummus after I go out in a little bit. I'm going to have red peppers and hummus. That's going to be a really good meal. I don't do as many greens. I may do a salad tomorrow, but I won't do a salad today. I don't do salads every day because it's not good for you. I won't do that. I used to do that and it made me a little sick. So I'll do salads like every 2 days or something like that, but I'll do mostly fruit. I don't do really starchy fruit. I do fruit. I stay away from potatoes or anything like that. I don't do starches. Like I have some lychee. And then when I start craving things, like I'm getting my food processor. So I know generally at the late night hour when I want to watch Netflix, I want to go eat something. Listen, you ever get the craving when you have Netflix? I want to get snacks when I have Netflix. So They have this wonderful thing at Trader Joe's. It's so good. It's raw. It's condensed, it's figs, walnut with chia seeds. Listen to me. It's figs, walnut, like mashed together, like a fig Newton. It tastes like a fig Newton with the chewy, like a chia seed inside. Oh my God. So I have that before my 7 o'clock mark because I'm going to make sure, I'm going to try, family. Please send good vibrations to me. I'm going to try not to after 7 o'clock eating anything because I so love to eat when I watch television. I do. When I watch my Netflix, I like to snack. So please send me good vibrations, please. Oh, yeah. Soda? Oh, yeah, soda. You can do, my mother, before my mother was in the hospital, she used to give me, I told her I didn't want my children having soda. Once in a blue, I don't stop them from anything, but Izzy's, I'll do Izzy's for them, okay? Or Izzy's or like a grapefruit soda, like a fizzy thing, if they like a fizzy thing. But she doesn't listen because she likes to drink Pepsi. My mother, you know, I had a matrix mom, so she did Pepsi. I was like, Mommy, don't have my little ones drinking Pepsi. I told her it's garbage. She was like, you grew up, had Pepsi when you were little. You're enlightened. Listen to what my mother said. My mother said, you grew up drinking Pepsi and you're enlightened. I said, Mommy, I don't drink it anymore. She's so funny. So she's right though, but she's like, you know, because whenever I give her the theory, she's like, you're okay. We gave you stuff. So I buy Izzy's for them and I put them in my mommy's fridge. They're not over there anymore because my mom's still in the hospital, but I put Izzy's, I'll buy Izzy's for them every once in a while. If they want a little carbonation, I'm okay with that. I need to buy, I don't believe in having carbonation in your body because it's not good for you. But, you know, like I said, I'm rearing balanced children and I don't want to taboo anything too much because then you create children that start to have tabooed foods and then OD on things because they didn't get it when they were home. I want them to be balanced. I want them to know what makes them feel good. I want them to know what foods are out there so that they've tasted and they know the difference between what's friend and foe. You know, I'm okay with that. So kombucha is okay. If you don't have melanin, you're okay. If you have melanin, you shouldn't be drinking kombucha. Anything that's fermented, for people who have heightened amount of melanin, you should not be drinking anything fermented or eating anything fermented, like sauerkrauts, kombucha, what else is fermented? Even apple cider, you know, the apple cider vinegar, you shouldn't get it fermented. Anyone who has melanin, that is a poison to melanated people, especially if they're heightened in indigenous quality. So anyone who has melanin, and you can research yourself. You think I'm ODing, go look it up. Fermented foods and drinks are toxic to melanin dominant people. It works like a poison for us, okay? And if you want to test the theory, drink it on an empty stomach with nothing else. You're going to see maybe your eyesight gets a little different. You're going to feel a little different. Remember, melanin is a chemical component, you know, just like, you know, why people take melatonin, you know, to go to sleep at night. It has its own molecular structure. If it has too much interaction with certain chemicals, that's why certain indigenous groups have a sugar addiction, which is liquor sensitivity, because they're allergic to sugar, distilled sugar. It's because their endocrine system is not equipped to process that type of sugar because it was nothing their ancestors ever had access to. Okay, that's the reason why. Okay. Oh, the 3,000 Guatemalas. You know that's a setup for you know why? Oh, should we discuss this now? Family, I'm going sidebar off food. This is what we do. The Guatemalans coming towards the U.S. border. Do you know why I think this is happening? I'm going to give you my total theory, and I almost know I'm correct. I say I'm 70% correct. I leave 30% because I could be wrong. I personally think these people were paid by governmental American agents to come here so that they can institute martial law at the borders in California before a big event's supposed to happen. That's my opinion. I think they were paid. I think they're motivated. I think the people leading that group and that herd are paid governmental agents who are purposefully building all these people so they can get to the border, so that there can be a mass hysteria, so they can institute martial law. That is my, when I saw that, the first thing that popped in my head, hold on. I hear you, Fleur. I almost lost both my parents and sister. I heard about adrenal fatigue. It comes from triggering too much insulin. That's right, Film Tris. Moo. Yes. Got to be careful with the indigenous groups eating too much sugar. It's just, the distilled sugar is no joke. I lose, whenever I eat things that are too sweet, because I like pumpkin scones, every time I eat sugar, something that's too sweet, my eyesight gets foggy. My eyesight goes foggy. I never used to do that when I was younger. I'm a little more seasoned now. My body's a little different, more sensitive. Sugar is the devil. Processed sugar is the devil. If you want to bake goods, like muffins and stuff, people who are not sensitive could do coconut sugar. I can't do coconut sugar because I'm allergic to it. But, ooh, you're eating pumpkin muffins? I'm mystery. I'm a little jealous right now, but I'm going to continue to eat my grapes. Yeah, you got to be careful with the sugar. So maple sugar and sugar is like cocaine. It is a drug. You know why there's so many alcoholics in our society? Because too many people were giving their children sugar. And it is, distilled sugar is sugar. It's alcoholic. You're creating alcoholics by obsessing with sugar. Anytime you get, there's sugar in toothpaste. There's sugar in everything. They put sugar in toothpaste for the babies. They sweeten everything. Yeah, it is crack. And it's to cause alcoholism later on. You give too much sugar to your children, they have an alcohol issue. Okay? Because you're basically preparing them to be alcoholics. You're creating alcoholics. Oh, let's go back to the border. Wait, Starbucks got rid of their cheesecake pumpkin muffin? Oh, Lord. Female Jake, you're trying to make me jump off the wagon of raw. You know I can make a raw cheesecake, right? With nuts. Oh, I've got macadamia nuts. Thank you. I'm going to use my macadamia nuts right here. I'm going to make a pumpkin. You know, you could eat raw all day. You'll never gain a pound. Y'all worried about weight? Go raw. You just be careful because you can't stay raw for too long. You'll start losing content. Yeah. Anyway, see, this is a problem when we're coming on here hungry. Oh, you saw the Trader Joe's? That's right. I was at Trader Joe's today. I was at Trader Joe's. The only thing I don't like about Trader Joe's is that they get too many of their products from Mexico. Mexico does not have good hygienics when it comes to their green, their fruits and vegetables. Because I've been out there. Yeah, you can have a cesspool like 100 yards away, and then you have an organic farm. Cesspool is going to leach all in the soil. That's why I don't mess with Mexican things. Things from Mexico. I'm not disrespecting Mexico, but their hygienic rules are a little lax. Okay, I don't mess with. Trader Joe's has tons of stuff from Mexico. I already told them about themselves. Oh wait, from the data. Okay, I'm sorry. Did we go off? I'm sorry. I feel sorry. Like I said, I feel sorry to people who come and look at my lives because we talk like about everything. I don't really stick on topics. Look, they're talking about food. Y'all are trying to get me in trouble. You're triggering my shadows. And then there's going to be Christians on here. All you need is Jesus Christ to heal your shadows. You may have to pray for yourselves. Okay, so we're talking about the migration of these people coming to the border. I just say for those in the West Coast, just be mindful and be careful because I think they're going to institute martial law as soon as they hit the border. They're already in Mexico and they're building. So I personally think just like, what was that place when they had all those shootouts? What was it? One of the other false flag states, they paid all these people to come act like they were part of the the picketers or the people protesting, and really they were provocateurs paid by the government. There are Guatemalan and provocateurs. Now y'all see why I wasn't going to go to Central America. Remember years ago some criticized why I don't want to go to South America, why I don't want to go to Central America and South. This is why. Central America is the least protected around the places, you know, places like Costa Rica, which are beautiful. There's no real governmental system there. If anything goes down, hungry people will go to any place that has no protection. That's why I don't mess with Central America. Central America is a place where anything goes down, it basically pummels over to each country. Okay? You know, you got El Salvador, which is like murders going left and right. You got Honduras, where they got like basic military people standing in the roads. I'm just saying, you know, you got to be careful. And you got this pro quo, this fake herd coming that are paid provocateurs, governmental provocateurs coming to the border. And you heard Trump already said they ain't getting through the borders. What you gonna do, kill all of them? Okay, so then you have mass murders. Then you're gonna have all kinds of, they're trying to pop off up anything possible. So now you're gonna have these people go to the border, start ish there. Couple are gonna leach over to the other side. It's gonna cause mass disorder, and they're gonna institute martial law. That's probably why they had the alert coming at us. Yeah, they already have FEMA places for all these people. And I told you, well, you know, like I said, there's a reason. Yeah, you know, I can't. I'll talk about it on Patreon. There's something I can't say. There was something I was gonna say. There's some things going on there. There's a purge going on. So, just, you know, watch my West Coast people. Watch. Be vigilant. I had a phone call. Yeah, just be vigilant. Make sure that you guard your doors. Remember, you got people, and I don't want to call them poor, but you got people who are limited, who have nothing to lose. And this is what they did in Europe. You know, what's happening right now is what they did in Europe with all of the people who went over into Europe from other countries, like from other countries that were devastated, you know, the immigrants, you know, they did that in Europe, purposefully filling Europe up with people that were from other countries that were decimated, and they were filling them up with males. You think that the government wasn't doing that? The government was letting all of these non-natives come into Europe, you know. Why do you think they did that? Because they love their people? They're nationalists? No, because there is an agenda that's going down now. And the same agenda that happened in Europe is happening right now here with this group of people from Central America that I personally don't even think they are who they are. There's a few in there that are actually people who really want a better life, that are following the cues and hues of these paid provocateurs who are leading them to their slaughter. It's abusive. It's so absolutely heinous. But that's why you have to follow your first mind. Never follow the herd, because you will always lead yourself to slaughter. Okay? So, you know, they're clearing up places that they want to keep for the elite. So they're herding people out of certain countries that they want for themselves so that they can get them out. Same with Africa. They were herding Africans out of Africa so the elite could comfortably go over to the most resourceful continent and take over those countries. But Africa got smarter, and Africa was like, oh no. Africa is kicking all the people who are not native to Africa right now. You know why they're doing it? Because they saw that there was an agenda. And the same is going to happen here. That's why all those people are moving from their countries. They're being motivated to leave the country so they can leave space for the ones who can live there. I told you why I'm going. Why do you think I'm doing my exodus? And watch your babies. For those living in where's that? For those residing in California, neighboring those borders, watch your girls, please. Watch your girls and your boys. Rape will spike. Watch your girls and your boys. You tell your little girls, stay away from the borders. Make them walk in groups of people together. You got to be very careful, because when you have a group of people that are being told that they are not good enough, that they aren't worthy, that's when you get all these rapes. Why do you think a lot of these women in Europe were being raped by some of these foreigners? Because they put this big thing like, oh, these are the cream of the crop. You can't have it. You're not good enough. You're dirt. Then you take people like that who've been propaganda that they're nothing, and then you take them and let them see these free little girls, little Americans. What do you think's gonna happen? So watch your babies. Get them some mace. I don't know if your state allows it. Get them some mace. Get them some stun guns. I'm serious, family. Get them some stun guns. Don't put knives or guns on them because they're little. That could be turned against them. But I would tell you to have your little ones, your young ones, and boys too, because boys are not. Boys can get raped as well, and more boys get raped than anybody talks about. So I would say arm your children, family, and tell them to be vigilant, and tell them and let them know you're not being paranoid. Tell them that what happens, even if you have to show them what happens to little people if they get abducted by some of these very sick people that are being told that they're worthless. Okay? You know, that's why all these people who are against, you know, people because they look brown or they're poor, you get consequence. There's a karma for that. You know what happens karmically when you judge other people who are poor or don't have anything? Then your children get victimized by those same people that you think are dirty, and they'll live up to your expectations. You should be careful how you think of other people, because they'll live up to the expectation that you put on them, and you will manifest that reality, and they will hurt your daughters. So daughters, mothers, and fathers, please give those babies, teach them to protect themselves, tell them to walk around in groups, make sure that you know where they are at all times, because once that herd comes to that border, and you still you do, if you know that your thoughts are things and you are manifesting a reality, that manifests a reality where your family is all safe, manifests a reality where you know that it's all good in the hood, manifests a reality where you know that your little ones are safe wherever they are and they'll be protected by their ancestors. Manifest a reality where you are somewhere far away from any tyranny that may come from this type of provocateur group hurting. Because the only people who really get backlashes from this type of perhaps instability are those who are really judgmental, because they will experience the judgment that they've imposed on others. That's why I say keep your prejudices away, biases away. You're going to have to heal your impulse to judge people. Because at the end of the day, like I said, the herd, there may be only a handful of people in that herd who are diabolical, and a whole bunch of beautiful people who just want a better life for themselves and have been told that something's waiting for them, and they don't know and they don't speak English. So you see how a shame that is? So a few are hurting many, and the many are actually in good vibration, and it's the few that are diabolical. Doesn't that sound familiar? It's a shame. It's very a shame. But I hope that I hope that all works out. I hope little to zero lives are lost because of this, because at the end of the day, all lives matter. And, there's nothing wrong with mothers and fathers who want better for their lives. I think all of us do. And it doesn't matter what they look like, what language they speak, what color or complexion they are. Everybody matters. You know what I mean? So, is there anything wrong with drinking apple cider? Yes, as a melanated person, that is fermented. Apple cider vinegar, especially the Bragg's, is fermented. That is toxic for brown people. I use it only in my detox with my bentonite clay when I'm claying myself. That's the only time you see me use that, okay? I don't mess with apple cider vinegar like that. I use key limes for, I'm a Caribbean woman. I love key limes. I use key limes as opposed to anything like that. Key limes have seeds. They're more indigenous. They're not genetically homogenized. That's what I use when I use anything. So if you want to get the same effects as apple cider vinegar, then just suck on a key lime, okay? Or put it in your salad dressing, okay? Or there's other vinegars that are not fermented, okay? Anything fermented is toxic for melanin-dominant people. Again, you can research this yourself. If you think that I'm a little off, by all means, I always say back up anything I can back up anything that I say. You can just go and research it, okay? That's it. Anyway, family, I think I went all kinds of probiotics. This is a tough one. Probiotics, if you're having issues, probiotics helps. There's all different forms that they have that are more natural. And I'd say I can't speak on that totally because I'm not as seasoned in that concept. I know probiotics does work, especially if you have instability in your gut, okay? But, you know, all the breads, I remember, who told me this yesterday? I forgot, I was going to talk about it too. All the breads, oh, another thing with the people who are eating breads, what was it in the bread? Oh gosh, I had a long, it was a, was the bromine in the bread? There was something in the bread that was causing problems in addition to the metal. Is it the bromine? It's something in the breads that's created, that's put in breads that causes a problem. I forgot the conversation. When I remember, I'll just remind you on Aquarius Rising. There was something they were saying, and I found out it was true. I forgot what it was. So, you know, and it's also why yeast is the devil too. Everything's the devil. Yeast is one of the reasons why a lot of us get cellulite, okay? If you go in a lot of countries, they don't necessarily utilize a certain kind of yeast, and it's a certain kind of, there's things that they don't put in their breads. So you'll notice that you go to other countries, the women don't have as much cellulite as they have in the United States of America. It's because of the yeast that we put in our breads here. That's why it's better to have flat breads and things like that, yeah. And you could test this theory too, because a lot of that, if you stop eating a lot of yeast, everybody's getting mad. If you take out the yeast out of everything, I bet you'll stop seeing as much cellulite. It makes the fat stay in one position. What does it do? It makes the fat stay in certain parts of your body, like come together, you know, clump together. That's what it does, yeast. So I would just, you know, it's like glue. Thank you, Desiree. It's like glue. So yeast, you know, rather than, I tell you to experiment. If you have cellulite, stop eating things with yeast. I bet you'll see your skin smooth out some more. You know, of course, you gotta tighten up your skin some too. But for the most part, you'll see that over. And it can't just be not eat yeast for like 2 months. You're not gonna see that much of a difference. I'm saying take out yeast for like a year, and you're gonna see a difference in how your skin shows up. Okay, Panera. She said, would you say you like Panera bread? Then you've already fallen off the wagon. Nutritional yeast included. No, it's all yeast. All yeast. I'm saying, you know, family, that's what I'm saying. We got to be careful because everybody's body reacts differently. So I say this, don't take everything I say at face value. Try it. Vet me out. Take what I share with you and vet it out. You know what I mean? Because every person is different. Everybody's genetics are different. There's certain things I may know really well based on my own genetics. And if you share a similar look to me, then you can kind of say, well, FleurBrun looks a little like me and my family members, or she has some of the same she has the same blood type. So I can kind of say collectively that maybe I can agree maybe this is the case, but always vet out what I say. I never want you to sit here and think that everything I say is 1000% until you vet it out. Okay, I did my own vetting out. That's why I hold this type of information and I've gained wisdom. You vet it out as well. Okay. What is it? Oh, what is it? Bromine is a halogen displacer. Oh, thank you. That's it. Thank you. Ashira. Yes. The bromine. We were talking about the bromine. It causes thyroid issues. That was what we were discussing. Thank you. Thank you. Ashira. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love that you just, okay. So that's what it was. The bromine in bread. Yeah, it causes thyroid issues. And because a lot of women tend to have thyroid issues, it's coming from eating too much of that bread or that gluten. So that, I forgot. That's what we were discussing. Thank you so much. See, we had a C-star went and vet out something I said, and she found it. You see how wonderful that is? Absolutely. Oh, thank you, Film Trust Mule. I appreciate Film Trust. You've been with me for a long time. I appreciate it. It's so sweet. Thank you for the donation. Um, Thank you for sending me. She says, I send you good vibrations. May you have all you need, want, and deserve. You're a beautiful mom. You can tell you respect and love your daughters by the name in which you speak to them on camera. I thank you. I do. I'm grateful. I'm grateful they chose me as their mom. I'm humbled as a mother. I think I wanted them I wanted them years before I ever had them. And I live and coexist to make and be a role model so that they can walk forward in life with a respect for themselves based on what I've shown them and how I showed up in the world. So, I hope all that I do shows up beautifully later on and translates well. And I hope I'm giving them all the ingredients to make wonderful lives for themselves. And, I hope I'm doing that for some of your children as well. My mom did it for so many children. And like I said, I could never be to the degree she is. I mean, even to this day, all her students, students that are like in their 30s now and 40s, they remember my mommy. They remember my mom and dad. And they are always asking about them and always saying how beautiful and wonderful they were. And if I could only be to that degree, I would be so grateful. And hopefully I could be that for my daughters. And hopefully, you all, many of you are the most phenomenal mothers anyway and fathers. So, what is it? So bromine, family, please be careful with bromine. And for iodine, that's why it's good to have, you're supposed to have healthy iodine. That's why it's good to have Bladderwrack, which is healthy for those who are having thyroid issues. Bladderwrack is phenomenal. That's a form of iodine that's processed well by the body. Dr. Sebi really recommended that. Bladderwrack is phenomenal. And I had taken Bladderwrack on and off since I was, that was like over 10 years. No, was it 9 years ago? Okay, I don't really take it all the time, but I eat seaweed. So seaweed has iodine. We're lacking in iodine too. That's another reason why things get thrown off. So make sure you get healthy iodine too. So iodine, which you can get in seaweed if you don't like seaweed, Bladderwrack, oh goodness. I appreciate that, Cam. Bladderwrack is good and seaweed. So if your little ones, my little ones eat seaweed for a snack. They like it. They actually like it. If you have your little babies, start them young. If they like seaweed, only give to your babies what they like. Remember, they will tell you gene-wise what's good for them. Don't force your children to eat things they don't like. This is something that I learned well in nutritional field, is that children will tell you what's good for them and not. And when you try from young, if they don't like it, it's not for them. Just like you can remember not liking certain things and find out later on you had an allergy to them. Okay? So be careful. Sea moss, maybe I should do it on film. Maybe I'll do it with you guys later. My food processor, listen, I'm waiting for my food processor today. I ordered thebomb.com. It's supposed to be okay. I ordered this food processor online. I never ordered it. I normally just go in. I got one. So I'm going to make my sea moss drink like the Caribbeans with the vanilla. I'm going to do it because you make it like a gel and it makes like a shake. And I'm going to put it in the fridge. Oh, it's going to be phenomenal. I'm going to put dates in it. Oh, family, I'm going to share it with you. Oh, I'm going to have that later. So at night before the 7 o'clock mark, so I don't get cravings, because sea moss will make you feel like you're full because it has packed with minerals. I'm going to make the shake. I'll probably do it. Maybe I'll do it on live if you want me to show you how to make it. Oh, I'm excited. I'm going to make my sea moss shake, except, some Jamaican men like to put rum in it. I'm not putting any rum in it. They make it like a drink, like a really nice rich drink. It's like a shake though. So I'm gonna make that, and I'm gonna keep it in the fridge, and then I'm gonna make. That's what I'm doing raw. So my raw is gonna be really fun. So when I go raw, I enjoy like making really good raw, because remember, I'm about this life. So I was raw before it was popular. I was raw. I might tell my age here. I was raw almost like 15 years ago. when it wasn't popular. I was raw over 20 years ago, I remember, but I got sick at that point. I got sick because I was eating plums and something else. I wasn't eating much. So yeah, so it'll be good. Anyway, family, so yeah, if I do... So when I do, I'm going to try to do my sea moss. I'll show you the sea moss I bought later though, but I'll try to do the sea moss. Kelp is really good for you. So I'll do my sea moss for you guys and show you, and it's really yummy. It's really good. And it's good for the babies. So if you guys have babies that are having problems keeping a little weight on or getting nutrition, rather than giving them supplements, do sea moss. If they tolerate it, it depends on your genetics. So it's really, oh, thank you, T. Christopher. Thank you, T. Christopher. I appreciate it. Tag someone else in this. Let's go. FleurBrun, love you, C-Star, more than you know. Heard you first through Dr. Alim. Aw, my great mentor. I love Dr. Alim. Big up to Dr. Alim. I appreciate it. You guys are so sweet. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So, yeah, I'll do the sea moss thing later if I have time. If I don't do it today, I'll do it tomorrow because I can just film it and you can see what I do. I love this, and it's good for the babies. Like I said, it's good for us, especially women. And men, oh, Ceraseed is good for men too. You know, Caribbean people know Ceraseed is really good for men, especially, you know, men go through prostate issues. It cleans their blood. But sea moss, the shake, when I make the shake, you're going to be like, oh my God, how did I not know about this? It is so good. I crave it. You don't see it in a lot of Caribbean, well, some Caribbean places carry it fresh. And I'm going to drink it before my 7 o'clock mark so I don't crave anything after 7 o'clock. It'll really satisfy you. Anyway, so I love you, family. I'm going to go because I'm going to go and I'm actually going to cut up my, now for my lunch, I'm going to cut up my red peppers and do hummus with red peppers. So that'll be my lunch if you want to know what I'm doing. And then later on, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the recipe. No, I'll do it for you live because I don't really write down. I'm like old-fashioned. I'm old-fashioned. I don't ever have recipes. I just make it. I don't do measurements or anything. That's how long I've been doing these things. I don't do measurements, but if you see the proportions, you'll know what I'm doing. So you'll love it. Oh, so good. So I'm going to have that. I'm craving that, but I'm waiting for my food. I have my Vitamix, but I want to use my food processor to do the dates and stuff. Oh, I have like grapes underneath my nails. I'm excited. I know. Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you. Many of you share stuff with me. Don't make it seem like I'm the only one sharing. You share so much with me. Everyone on here, it's a lot of people that are so phenomenal that you know things that I don't quite know, and you share things. So it's not just me sharing, it's me extending myself and you doing the same. So I appreciate you as well. Okay? So anyway, I'm gone. My food processor is not here yet, but I will probably do it tomorrow. I love you. Have a wonderful day. Just be careful, mindful, and, you know, manifest your own reality. It's an artificial world, but you can make it what you want if you know you're interacting with it and you're the creator ultimately. All right. I love you. Oh, soursop. Don't, I know I'm going to end. I do my sour, as a matter of fact, I'm doing my moringa soursop tea right now because I have all my key limes. So I do that as well. So I'm going to have that as my drink choice. Actually, I should stop the decaf coffee. I might stop when you see, I'm probably going to stop the decaf coffee. Maybe tomorrow. All right, family. I love you. Mwah. Peace.